How's everybody doing? Welcome back to Ask Hat Podcast on YouTube. Got a comic here. Now this is a spin-off, if I'm remembering right, from a series that I never hear anybody mention. So this spin-off I never mentioned. Okay, Now Comics. Now Comics, and I'm going to double check this, make sure. Okay, 93, this is late. Now Comics was kind of like, in my eyes, the Whitman, Dell of the 80s through like the mid-90s, where they did a lot of licensed stuff. They're probably best known. They did the Real Ghostbusters comic, and they did Married to Children, and they did a really good Fright Night series. And probably what they're best known for now is that the first Terminator movie with Schwarzenegger comics ever come out were from Now Comics. And they also did like a Speed Racer series. Well, one of their original series, not their first original series, but then there was this series called Ralph Snart, which was kind of like a comedy comic. And there was a character called Mr. Lizard in there. Well, this is Mr. Lizard 3D, issue 1, $3.50. It comes with free 3D glasses, instant Mr. Lizard capsule included. Well, when I got mine, it didn't have the capsule. It didn't even have the glasses. I had to get the glasses someplace else. You see the art. It looks like Mr. Lizard's at like a college toga party, and it got Iron Blimp instead of Led Zeppelin. Now this is a 3D comic, so the art's not going to be the best, but there's Married to Children. I love the Now Comics Married to Children comics. They're really fun. The only bad thing is they had a bad habit of, they did a lot of miniseries where they'd start them and you get 1 or 2 issues, they never finish them. But yeah, see, 3D art, and actually, you know what? On here it looks better than it does in person. It blends it a little bit, but it's red-blue. What's that called? Analyph, I think, 3D. And like I said, it's Mr. Lizard. He was kind of just a douchebag that went around and did stupid stuff. Now, Ralph Snart, as far as I know, was creator-owned. The creator was doing a web comic of it as of a few years back. I don't know if it's still going on or not. I never read a huge amount of Ralph Snart because the time when Now was coming out, because Now was one of the few non-DC, Marvel, or Archie comics I could find at newsstands. I mean, you can find continuity, but continuity never came out on time. They were expensive, whereas now you can find, and I would pick up stuff. Like I remember picking up Fright Night, and I remember picking up, other stuff like that. And nowadays, I love Now Comics. Pretty much anything from them, if I don't already own it and it's cheap, $1 or $2, I'll grab it. I'm really kind of surprised like their Married to Children stuff doesn't have more value, because there is a huge Married to Children fan base. And, there's not that much Married to Children merch. I mean, you have, the DVDs, and there was some VHS, and there's a few little things, but the comics were one of the big things that, you never saw. And there was some neat stuff, like there was sorry, my ear was itching there. There was a Married to Children miniseries, supposed to be 4 issues, called the Quantum Quartet, where they got superpowers and became like their version of Fantastic Four. And the first 2 issues I bought as they came out. Now was, especially with their mini, Green Hornet. I forget they did Green Hornet too. Green Hornet was fairly big, and that's a really good series. But the Quantum Quartet, the first 2 issues came out so on time, then I never saw issues 3 and 4. Assume they never got published. In years back at a convention, and it's probably one of the rarest comics from Now, I found they published 3 and 4 as a flip book. It's the only copy I've ever seen. Talking to people that have run comic shops for years, they tell me they've never seen a copy. But I got one and paid next to nothing for it. And see, decent art. Now this is black and white. Of course, most of your 3D comics are going to be black and white. I've never seen a color 3D comic. You can get Mr. Lizard 3D pinup page. Copyright 1993. Now Entertainment Corp. Created by Mark Hansen. And it's just Mr. Lizard done up like the old, with the fur coat and the boater hat and the flag, and got the keg of beer and the tuition bill. And more of the story. Now Comics. They put out some really cool stuff that, like I said, they're kind of forgotten. And they must have had money, because it took money to get distributed on the newsstands, get distributed outside comic shops back then. There wasn't many. I mean, Dark Horse wasn't doing it. First Comics did it towards the end of their run, but that's what killed them. I don't remember Eclipse ever doing it. Of course, Fantagraphics did, and the Kitchen Sink did, but they didn't publish stuff that would do good on the newsstands. I think Now probably would have. I'd love to see sales figures. Vintage Snart. Ralph Snart Adventures Collection. Trade paperbacks, Volume 1 and 2. And that's Ralph Snart. Mark Hansen. Okay, it is the same kind. Yes, it's that reptilian runt, the pea-sized pain. It's Mr. Lizard. I have trouble reading that because it's like, but I just thought this would be something I never hear people. Oh, the other thing now is known for is they did Mr. T and the T-Force. The comic that caused Neil Adams to lose the chance to publish probably the thing that would have sold the most for continuity, which was Valeria the She-Bat crossover with Spawn, because he was too busy doing the Mr. T. But look, you got Jeff Butler signing posters at the Capital City Conference. That's not I know Stephen Butler. Comic shop owner Gary Cobolono, clowning around Mr. T in San Diego. Green Hornet writer Ron Fortina and inker David Mowry signing autographs at Diamond Seminar. TV's Green Hornet Van Williams. The Green Hornet and Kato. And that's it. And then we get instructions for activating your very own instant Mr. Lizard capsule. Place Mr. Lizard capsule in warm water. Wait 20 seconds. Be patient. Voila! Instant Mr. Lizard. Gently squeeze excess water from Mr. Lizard. Let dry. When Mr. Lizard is completely dry, he'll stand upright and be ready for action. Variations on these basic instructions. Plan A. Fill your bathtub with warm water. Get in. Drop Mr. Lizard capsule in the tub. Voila! Instant Mr. Lizard. Plan B. Go to your local comic shop. Purchase many copies of Mr. Lizard 3D Special with instant Mr. Lizard capsules. Fill your bathtub with warm water. Get in. Drop Mr. Lizard capsules into tub. Voila! Instant Mr. Lizard pool party. What can you do with your Mr. Lizard action figure once he's been activated? 1,001 uses. We'll list just a few. Number 37 makes a lovely dashboard ornament. I like this. Instant Mr. Lizard action figure shown actual size. Number 452, use Mr. Lizard to wipe up small, embarrassing spills. Number 129, low maintenance pet. That's true. 215, an attractive coaster for very small beverages. 12, dip him in paint and create instant lizard sponge paint designs. Okay, yeah. 172, dress him up in your clothes and send him to school instead of yourself. Okay. 666, build a little shrine and worship him in your own home. That's cute. That is cute. Number 5, clamps onto coffee cup, an instant morning friend. 998, decorate your birthday cake with Mr. Lizard. Use several Mr. Lizards. 850, how about a nice Mr. Lizard Jello mold? 91, how about a stunning Mr. Lizard brooch? 110, sew at least 110 Mr. Lizard action figures together and create your own Mr. Lizard action vest. We really want to know what you and your Mr. Lizard do when you're together. Drop us a line and let us know. Mr. Lizard action figure, blah, blah, blah. I found this in the stack. I was like, I never heard anybody mention Ralph Snart, especially not Mr. Lizard. It's a 3D comic. I don't think I've ever done a 3D comic on here before. I own a handful. It was a neat idea. It just never seemed to take off. I mean, look into the history of the first 3D comics did okay, and then the bottom dropped down and it actually killed off a company. Jack Kirby created, if I remember right, it was Jack Kirby, or was it Shyman and Schuler? I don't remember. It's one of them. Captain 3D did good for first issue, second issue, and then bombed. And there's like Joe Kubert's Tor. I think the first 3D comic in the States was a Mighty Mouse one, but yeah, neat little piece of comic history here. Well, hope you enjoyed that. Remember, if you did, ba-boom! Give me that thumbs up. Ba-boom! Leave a comment, subscribe. Matter of fact, leave me a comment on I'll give you 2 options, or you can talk about both, it don't matter. Tell me the first 3D comic you ever read, if you've read one, or the first non-Marvel, non-DC, non-Archie, non-Disney comic you ever read. I'm just curious, and give me a little detail, tell me what made you pick that up instead of picking up like the newest issue of Spider-Man or Archie or Donald Duck or Superman. I'm just curious, interaction here. That's what keeps YouTube channels going, is the interaction between the people, the viewers, and the creators. And I'm a viewer too. I watch a lot of YouTube. But anyway, talk to everybody later. Bye-bye.